From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Good evening and welcome to Ask the Attorney. I'm your host, Amy Rao Mohan, and this is your chance to ask an attorney, Kevin Kennedy, all of your legal questions that you've been wanting to know. Any type of civil or criminal question, family law, he's here to answer them. And so tonight our guest is Kevin Kennedy.
Hi, Amy. Good to be with you as always. They've got the monitor up closer. I said, wow, who is that?
I know. We're right up close.
But it's always a delight to be with you.
You
know, I said the last time, I said, you know, Amy is really brilliant. I know she doesn't answer all the questions on here, but she and I have a great relationship, and I love to bounce ideas. She's a young lawyer, but she is a brilliant lawyer, and we're all blessed to have you.
Oh, well, thank you. And I learned a lot from you, Kevin. You've been practicing for more than 30 years now.
32 years, boy. I'm dating myself. But, you know, that's why they call it
that
the
makes you wiser.
Practice of law. They said the practice of law, yeah, because you're constantly practicing. And I always still, even I think one of my secrets to how we were successful on the vast majority of the cases is this, just like you and I, we talk about it and we talk about it. I've had some clients say, we've already been over that. I said, yeah, but we hadn't been over it enough. And it's amazing how many times that idea pops out in a conversation. And so then, you know, I want to write. You'll catch me and you writing notes because it'll come in your mind. Write it down because it's very powerful and you don't want it to get away.
That's right. And we want you to call that number at the bottom of your screen, 737 plus 737 7587. A chance to ask Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm all types of questions. And Kevin, I know that recently you have had some really big victories in terms of some plaintiffs' cases as well.
Yes. You know, last year we settled some multi-million-dollar cases. When my brother came in there and he said, wow, he said, well, you know, this is it. This is it. This is probably the biggest of our lifetime. This is it. And I remember I said, no, Bruce. I said, we set the record. He said, no, we broke the record. I said, no, Bruce, we set the record, and next year we'll break the record. And believe it or not, we broke the record. So that's all great. And so what do you attribute that to? A great team. And it cannot, those big multi-million-dollar settlements cannot be achieved without a great team, because it's just too complicated and you need too many people. And some people say, well, golly, Kevin, you got all those guys there. It costs you a fortune to keep them going. Yes, it does. But in the clinch moments, they're worth it. And so it's great news. And I love to try to keep ourselves up, keep the enthusiasm going, because the practice of law can beat you down. You've shared with me, you know, how you've got a couple of weeks coming on some major trials yourself. And so one of the old lawyers told me, he said, Kevin, there's only so many jury trials in a lawyer. And I heard him say it, and I've lived long enough to know that's true.
All right, so call that number at the bottom of your screen, 737 plus 737 7587. We're going to get to your calls. And again, Kevin practices all types of law, not just personal injury, but we've got bankruptcy, Social Security, wrongful death, divorce,
criminal, you name it, the full scale.
All right, hit him up with a lot of questions. Here we've got Terry here. Good evening, Terry.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good.
Right.
My question is, me and my ex-girlfriend have a 7-year-old daughter together, and she is keeping her from me, and she's even went to school to where I'm not even allowed to go see her at school.
All right.
So I would like to know what...
Well, what your complaint is everywhere. And, you know, in fact, today I probably had 3 in the office with the same similar situation. Amy and I were talking. What do you do? Well, you're doing the right thing because you are taking a proactive approach by picking up the phone and calling. What else I tell you to do is immediately go see a lawyer. You know, you've got rights. One of the things in Tennessee, if you have a child, you have parental rights. Now, you can't always exercise them because someone's trying to be unfair. They're trying to bully you, trying to intimidate you. So what I would say is I would immediately go to a lawyer, find a free initial consultation if you don't have the funds, and then get some good advice. That's why this program is so important. I love Channel 5. I appreciate Channel 5 giving you and us the opportunity to share one with another. And it's a terrible thing for us to know this information and not to be able to share it. And so again, unless they have a restraining order against you, which I bet they don't, you have a right to go to the school and get to eat lunch with your children. And but I would get a lawyer, because what you're going to do, many times there's unscrupulous individuals that would tell a lie and say, well, you've done this and you've done that. So how do I prevent that? Proactive approach. I'd file a petition and I'd get it laid out in a parenting plan and exercise it.
All right, good advice there. Got Keisha on line 2. Hi, Keisha.
Hi.
Hello. What can we do for you?
Yes, I had bought a car from this man, and he didn't tell me the title. So I'm trying to see do I have a case or not.
All
Because
right.
he can't get the title because the person who had the car didn't sign the title over to him. So I'm trying to see do I have a case or not.
Okay, first off, we've got to make a determination. Is it a private individual that sold you that car, or is it a car dealer? Now, in the state of Tennessee, it is a crime to sell a car and not deliver the title. And so most of the car dealers, they're going to say, hey, we anticipated we would get the title. You know, when I bought it, they told us it was signed, had a clear title, and I'm just waiting on some paperwork to get back. I know what I would do if I was a car dealer, if I was advising them. I said, if you don't have that title, give them their money back. And if it's an individual, again, you would not have bought the car if there is an implied warranty that you would have good title. And so I would certainly go to the district attorney and talk to him, say this guy's sold me a car and there is no title, or he hasn't got the title and he's misrepresented that, and that could be fraud. And if the DA said, I will not pursue it, I wouldn't stop there. You can file a suit. If it's under $25,000, you can sue in general sessions court and sue the guy for your money back.
All right. Got Andy here on 3. Hi, Andy. Andy, are you with us?
Yeah.
Go right ahead, Andy.
Man, I just want to know what it's like being a little faggot.
The bad language there. Let's go to Lakita. Hi, Lakita.
Hi.
How can we help you tonight?
Yes, I have a situation here. I was basically went to this job 2 months ago, and I was yes, I have a problem here. I have been without a job for 2 months. So I goes on this job to put in an application. So they did a background and a drug test on me. And I was wondering why I have never heard anything back from them. So I contacted them. So the guy did say everything is back and you good to go. Everything looks good. Your drug test, your background check looks good. And I was so happy because I know I need employment. And he said you can start Tuesday or Wednesday.
All right.
So I didn't hear anything back from them, so I decided to go back to Fish, and I talked with the manager, and I asked them. I said, I have been waiting on this job for 2 months. What's going on? He said, what is your name? I said, it's Nikita Smith. He says, I don't want to talk with you. And I looked at him. I said, is there a problem? He says, you failed your drug test. You failed your drug test. I said, no, I don't do drugs, sir. I have never in my life been around drugs. So today I did get a report back with my drug test. Everything on there is negative. She said she couldn't hire me because my drug test was too diluted. And everything come back perfect. My background check and also my drug test. And I'm wondering, have they been familiar with my credit report? I did get a credit report in this envelope.
So how
and
can
they
you
got no
help?
business going in my credit.
Right. Well, first off, when you're making your job application, they have a right to do a background check and they can do a drug test. But I want to suggest to all those who are listening, that's a shame that's what happened to you, because what we've had happen many occasions is that they've had a drug test and it came back positive. Well, just like you, people don't use, so they go back and ask for a separate drug test and they get a false positive or a false negative. So again, if I were in that situation, I would go in there, I'd try to see what those drug tests are, and you have a right to have an independent test just to prove that that is incorrect. We work and live in the state of Tennessee. That's where employment at will is, meaning that I can work for Amy, and as long as I want to, and I can quit, and she can hire me and she can let me go, and outside she and I having a contract, that's just employment at will in Tennessee. So there's a wide leverage for the employers as they make their assessments. But as the employee, you have a right to protect your reputation. You sure don't want them, and I would be very proactive to write that company a letter and put it in the file that, you know, that was wrong. I dispute that. And you can do that with your credit report. You can do that with an employment and keep it straight. And I also tell them, sometimes they hire lawyers and we write letters and say, make sure you make no derogatory statements about this person whatsoever, electronically, in person, telephonically, social media, or otherwise, because your reputation is one of the most important things that you have.
Right. And I know we've got lots of people waiting on the line. We will get to your call, so just hang on and keep calling that number 737 plus 737-7587, and we'll be back with Kevin Kennedy after this.